Hello and welcome to the stream. This is Father Jack. We are now going to do our world tour in the FBW A320. I did try and start this last week, but I made a total hash of it, and I thought, right, let's give it another try and see what happens. So as you can see, the plane's in a total cold and dark state is what they call it apparently. So we'll get the jetway connected and get going, I suppose. So we want the jet bridge, we want the ground power unit, that, and a catering truck as well. So we'll go outside. There's the jet bridge connected, so we'll let the passengers and people on. Ground power units connected, and the catering truck is pulling up. So let's jump back inside for a sec, and let's get this bad boy turned on. Since we've got the ground power units, we can put the batteries on and external power. Line up the navigation. Put the no seatbelts. The seatbelt sign-offs, I should say. And no smoking and arm the emergency lighting. And that's all we need to do for that. Let's put these monitors, light them up. What's the report sim brief plan? 998, that's the number I was after. Go constraints on, so not breaking any rules. Hello oddball, how are you? How's the weather where you are? Because it is ridiculously humid where I am, and I can't wait for a freaking thunderstorm just to clear the air a bit and let things cool down. So yes, this is the big jet. This is easier to fly than what you've been learning on. This bit, just press a few buttons and let the computers take care of the rest. It's as simple as that. I'm just lighting up all the screens at the minute. It's not rocket science. For anybody who doesn't know, Oddball Gaming is a great streamer. He does a lot of trucking. He does some farm sims. What else do you do? I can't remember now. I can't remember what else. Anyway, if you go to my YouTube page, his link is thank you very much. His on my ones to watch, you will see Oddball 76 there. Let's just switch this. My eyes on. Do that. Just traffic only at the minute. This isn't an op, but just getting part of settings up for when it does go live. So basically it's just what they call a center panel, and there's not a lot to do really. The trick with a big plane like this, if it's lit white, it means it's off. if it's dark, it means it's on, and that's all you have to remember. It's just it's when you're flying your Cessnas and your GA planes and stuff. There's a lot more involvement. A lot more involvement. Huge amount of involvement compared to this thing where you just basically press a few buttons and away you go. It's as simple as that. And it's got 174. Let's start boarding them. This is probably the hardest bit, is filling all this in, but the majority of it, just press a few buttons so it tells you EGNT, which is Newcastle, EGLL, which is Heathrow, how much the flight costs, and XYZ, you're flying at 23,000 feet. And that's basically it, really. It's when you're flying, the planes you've been flying, it's a lot hard, trust me. And that basically just for the navigation and destination. We're arriving at 27 left if I remember right, and we're going, where's Nug? There, oh, I passed it. Insert that. Turn. Go back to the original flight plan. The only thing weird about this thing is, if you look at the two buttons here, like up arrow, you think the screen would go upwards, and the down arrow, you think the screen goes down. No. You press up arrow to go down. It makes sense, I suppose, in a way. Get rid of that. See if there's any more. One more. Basically get these flights, discontinuities, I can't pronounce the word, so it's not hooking up properly, but you just clear them and away you go. So that's that bit done. Using flaps 1. The thing called flex temperature, which basically tells the computer how what the engine should be at. There's a thing, I'll show you the operational flight plan in a minute. But for the life of me, I cannot find anywhere on the OFP where this flex temp is. So these basically are your takeoff speeds. This next bit I always do it on the ground. You should really do it when you're up in the air, but I like to be prepared. So rows 3, 2, 10, 12, 18. So just put all this information in. It's already filled out for you. My memory's terrible. 18, 2, 10, 12. So temperature 18, and the wind direction, very light winds. By putting all that in, it calculates your vertical landing speed, which should be 116 knots. The thing called they call it radio on this, but it's a decision height. And that is the decision you have to make. It tells you like 100 feet above that. So at 150 feet, you have to decide whether to abort the landing or carry on with it, basically. So there's a thing called sim brief, when you get into the bigger jets on board, you create a free account on SimBrief. You put in the flight number X. Can I pull that up for you? Give me 2 seconds, I'll show you what I mean. Let's get SimBrief. I don't know if I can get it on the screen or not. So basically, this is SimBrief. So all of this information you can automatically import into the jet. So basically, you create a new flight, you put the J line, obviously Father Jack Gaming, a random flight number. You pick which aircraft it is, which is the FBW A320, where you started from, where you ended from, and it calculates everything, the route for you, everything. It's all free, that. Right, what am I doing? This is the operational flight plan I was on about. Oh, did I tell you, right? I've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. I cannot find that bloody flex temp anywhere. It's bound to be on there, but I can't find it. And I'm looking for the block fuel. Where the hell is it? I always forget where to bloody put these things. Go block fuels 5328. So go to fuel and put 5-4 in. Fuel the plane up. There we go. And that's it done basically. One thing I did have trouble last time was this, when no cruising at 23,000, and it dropped out to 2,400. So it basically tells me I need to start descending at 65 nautical miles from Heathrow, and that's basically it. So everything's filled in, everything's all done. All hunky-dory. This panel looks scary, but it's not. Turn the plane on, basically, put the 2 batteries on, which are here, press that one, everything lights up. You turn on the navs, the navigation systems, put the seatbelt signs on, which is a simple thing. No smoking, and you arm the emergency lights. These are your landing lights, your taxi lights, and the lights you see on outside of the plane. It's that easy. It's so simple. But when you're flying like a Cessna and stuff, you've got to have like there's certain mixtures and all this sort of stuff. This thing down here calculates it all for you, so you don't have to worry about stuff like that. Like even the big trim wheel, it calculates all that for you. It's so simple. It's when you get into the bigger GA planes, like the CRJs and stuff, they're a lot more complicated. But they're still more complicated than flying this bloody thing. So yes, I've got a British Airways livery. It's not a very big plane, but it can't fly from here to, well, I can fly from Paris to New York if I wanted to. Let's go back in and get rid of the catering and get rid of the baggage. So, trucks. That plane's not that big, honestly. Trust me, it's not. Get rid of that. Oh, get rid of that. It's already a small plane, trust me. They're starting to pull away. I love the animations on this. This A320 is designed by a group of guys called Fly By Wire. It's all free. They have 3 modes: the standard, development, and experimental mode. I always go with the development mode. And it's a great little plane to fly. The detail on it's unbelievable. So we're just waiting for the passengers to get their backsides on the plane. So there's 29 left, 36 in total. Why it does that, but so start APU up. Basically, it's just a little. I don't know if you see, like on jets like this, there's a little hole at the back of the plane. That's where the APU engine sits. Basically, just powers things up.
Boarding completed.
Thank you very much, sweetheart. So let's get rid of the jet bridge. One thing I forgot to do is pre-plan the pushback.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
So turn the fuel pumps on. Put the bleed on. Put the beacon light on.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
And we are good to go, really. So let's get rid of this fuel truck. Ground power unit, I mean.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board.
So that's him, bug it off.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Yeah, it's damn warm. Damn warm.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
Lift it up so I can push it back and I'll be on my way.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
You will start in the sequence.
I've got a button on my quadrant to do this, but it's not set properly. So just need to watch the engines. So what's that? Usually it's about 45, 50. I turn engine 1 on. Flaps down to 1. So the first leg of the round the world trip is from Newcastle to Heathrow, and then probably Heathrow to Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, and then probably Amsterdam down to back with your tea. All right, from Amsterdam somewhere in France, then France down to Barcelona, then across the Med to Italy, then up into the bottom regions like Poland and places like that, and then down somewhere else. I haven't figured the route out yet. So it's basically wait for these to fire up, been pushed back by the tug. So the plane was updated this afternoon.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Clear to disconnect. See you
Turn
at the
these
side.
off.
Have a good flight.
And
Holding
that's it.
position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Wait for him to bugger off. From Newcastle to Heathrow, it's about 45 minutes, if that. It's a very, very short flight. Really short. So, turn on brakes, just in case things blow up along the runway. And that's it, we are good to go. It's only a small flight. The longest flight I've streamed was just short of 9 hours. My daughter used to work for Emirates, and I used to do the route she used to fly on. So from Newcastle to Dubai, this view looks horrible. That's better. It's about a 7.5 hour flight, and that was a huge, like a big 777 plane. But even that, it's they're all the same. Like all this is the same. It's not that much different. It's put a lot of figures and destinations and stuff in, and then the computers work out the rest. Oh, tell you what I forgot to do. Put this on. My taxi lights. So a lot of the time with flying, especially big buggers like this, you're just sitting about, because all these computery stuff this thing, it's called an FMC, Flight Management Console, that does everything for you. Even when you land and you just press a couple of buttons along here and it lands it for you. It's not right sides. A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't have like the autopilot stuff on for landing and all that, but if it's there to aid you, why not? That's how I look at things. And plus, with this, you can actually read the chat without crashing into stuff or all that malarkey. And they're good because he gets pedals for these bloody planes. And I was talking to this guy, he says, what steering wheel do you have? I says, oh, I've got a Thrustmaster, something or other. He says, right, he says, when using a flight sim, you can figure the pedals to be like the rudder pedals on a plane. I went, really? It's, and they actually work as well. So there's a tip here on both. Don't invest in pedals for the plane. Just buy a joystick and away you go, because you can use foot pedals on your steering wheel. It has been raining up here, yes. I'm waiting for the big thunderstorm to hit, just to clear the air, because it is so humid. It's horrible. I've had to change t-shirt 3 times today. The sweat was unreal. Then again, I'm a big fat twat now, so yeah, I'm using real live wire, real life weather and time. So a lot of people when they do streams like this, they could set the time or the weather to be nice and clear and there's no problems, but I prefer it so it's more real life. There's another bit of software which I've just bought. You've got a fan on it. I know I need to buy. I'll get my fan out and put that bugger on as well later. Get to see hot. Right, let's just go and put the landing lights on. So take off landing lights. Oh, just left that on. And we'll ping the cabin crew. Just
Flight
so,
attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
so get your asses in the seats, folks. There's other bits of software I haven't put back on yet. I don't really find it necessary, but they do help you a little bit. There's a bit of software I bought 4 weeks ago, called First Officer Next, and I cannot get the friggin' thing to work. So I sent a complaint in saying how do I fix it, didn't get a reply, posted on that forum, and eventually one of the devs replied saying please email me. I always check emails, I don't usually check the forums. So I sent an email 2 weeks ago saying this is what I'm having problems with, this is what I'm doing, this works, that works, but your software doesn't because it's a pile of shit, basically. And I haven't had a reply back off him. So I'm going to post back on his forum and say, well, I sent you an email 2 weeks ago, where's the bloody reply? It cost me bloody 20 quid, that software as well. What a rip-off. Right, here we go. We'll do a roll and start. It's a lot harder to turn these bloody plates compared to a Cessna. Trust me. Here we go. Oh shit, big errors. It's supposed to go down a second line, but I always miss it. And that's it. In the air. You're up. Oh, it's this panel. Why have they come on? Oh. That's not a good sign. Right. Values come back up. I should be set to that. Reduce the thrust. Let's go and change this because it's just whinging arrows. That'll pop off in a sec. Ooh, did I not change this either? Because my button, I can't get the button to work properly. Sometimes this autopilot doesn't work and I don't know why, so just turn the plane a bit. Take the flap off. Got autopilot kick in. I don't want to be hand flying this all the way down. There we go. Autopilot's on. I can move the joystick up there. And it'll now start to fly along the path. That's flashing because my quadrant's not lined up properly for some reason. So we'll fly to 8,000 feet. And that's the maximum we can fly at. Quick outside, I didn't usually look outside, but so there's Newcastle below us. Well, come up South Shields now. So that's the South Tyne Pier, that's North Tyne Pier. This is South Shields. And that's basically all there is to it on board. They just sit and relax. Compared to flying with the Cessna, it's a double, absolute double. So I'll take these lights off now. Shut you on. And that's why have you come off? T-Pass is on now. Oh god. Why does that keeps turning itself off? That changed battle speed, that's better. Sometimes when that happens, you just adjust the throttle, turn them off, and turn up the auto thruster, put the power back on, and turn on the auto throttle, I should say, and away it goes. So that's it. Take a sip of my cold coffee, and away we go. I've set that to bloody... Oh, that'll go off. There we go. I need to reset my views. So I had me tracking on before and it screws up my views. So that's basically it. There's not a lot to it on board. Everything's taken like that's altitude. So once we get to 23,000, and once that gets 23,000, that turns itself off, and that's for the autopilot, so the head knows which head it's going in and what speed, and that is it. It's nothing's flashing up here. You're all good to go. It's yeah, that's it really. There's not a lot to it. It's now it's the boring bit. absolutely boring, this part. No, I've got skills, trust me. I've learned a little. On my Discord, there's a chap called Brettus, and he's a real life pilot. And he flies like the big 380s, the A340s, which I fly quite a lot. Used to fly the 320s, but he gave that up to go to the 340s, now the big 380s. He flies the 350s, very clever chap. And whenever I've got a question on a flight sim or plane, I just put the question in my Discord and the way he answers it. But he's coming to, he retires from the airline he works at this weekend or next week. So I don't know what he's going to do. But he's a very clever man, a very nice man. And he's taught me quite a bit. So, right, I'll be 2 minutes. I am just going to dig out that fan because this is ridiculous. We've got a sec. Now back. Oh, you didn't hear too much banging and clanging. I've got my fan on now. So, within 20,000, they need to start coming down. Just after this point here. Oh, it is an easy thing to do. I can't wait to watch you stream a flight like this. It's so easy to learn. I'm sure I sort of talk you through everything you need to know, because this is a great little plane. I'm gonna make Friday night my world tour flights night. So, doing this every Friday now. So I'll let you get prepared. So I basically, you drop down to 2,400. That's all I'm prepared. So basically when you get to about, when that hits about...
Once again, from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As it begins to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat belts clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating with the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
I forgot what I was saying now because he interrupted us. Yeah, so once that gets about 5,000, you hit that button there for the approach, turn on the second autopilot on, and you turn on the LS. You turn on LS on any time really, and it just puts these lines up and down, and there's little diamonds appear either side. So the diamond on this side tells you you're too low or you're too high, or you're too left or you're too right. But because you're putting these buttons on at the same time, that just takes care of it all for you. So you can sit and read the charts. I hope the overlay is working. Yeah, I did the small planes many years ago. To be honest, if you put me in a Cessna plane now, I would struggle with it. I can't remember how you fly them bloody things. Put these up a bit. The floodlights on. Brighten things up. There we go. Just in case it gets a bit, because the crowd's up a bit dodgy, to say the least. No, you do right by learning the smaller planes first, and learning that way. So by top it, should really start dropping down. So button there. Once we get the number, slowly drop it down, which is just there. So not far to go now. Yeah, so you just sit back and relax, watch the charts, and that's it really. There's not a lot to it. It's, it's not. It's pretty simple, really. So everything's computerized, and that's it. It's you just press a few buttons, and I have got failures turned on. So every so often, probably a failure might happen, depending the age of the plane and how many miles you've done it and such stuff. So yeah, it's well, I've seen a lot of people when they're flying planes like this and an alarm goes off or something happens, so it always tells you in this part here, we've got no smoking sign, what's actually wrong. And a lot of people panic and they start pressing buttons and all sorts of stuff. But as long as you take your time, don't panic, you can fly with one engine if you have to. It's so simple. So that's the fuel, tons of fuel left. Another slurp of me cold coffee. I hope you can see me over there. One thing that makes me laugh about flight simmers, they seem to be fixated on the landing rates, and you just have like someone pop on the screen say your landing rate was like minus 172 whatever. But I was talking to my real life pilot friend, and he says in real life the airline companies don't give a crap. As long as you land the plane safely, everybody survives, you can walk away from it, that's a good landing. He's talking about it, everybody's fascinated by the so-called butter landings and all this sort of stuff. And he says, what a load of rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So I now have my fan on as well. So basically this screen on the left tells you how level the plane is, whether you're climbing or in yours descending. Obviously that's speed, your cruise, your navigation, automatic thrusters, your decision height, and this is where it's basically where you're going. So runway 27 left, we were landing. This arrow point down means there's a headwind. GS is the ground speed. I can't remember what TS means. And that tells you your next waypoint, which is here, Newcastle. So it's 28 nautical miles away. One thing I always forget to do is a thing called a chrono. And soon, just before the runway, when you stop to put the lights on, you're supposed to switch your chrono on. So it tells you how long you've been flying, etc. But I always forget to switch the bloody thing on. Hopefully this will become an op soon. This is where you press it on the radar. It's for terrain. So it's high terrain and stuff. It's like green. And when I filled all this bit in, apparently that's for the weather as well. But that's not working at present, because that's if you're in really bad weather, rains, well, bad storms come up in red and such stuff. So, just that a sec. So that's all there is to it. It's that's all I have to tell you really on board. It's all this red stuff you can have for fire tests. So any fires there on the plane, you can test them out and don't know if you can do it actually on when you're flying. I don't know what you can do when you're flying. There you go. And that bit noise telling you there's a fire somewhere on the plane. And it does all there as well. It's got turned off. But that first software, next software that I bought, the first software usually does all that. The pilot's job really these days as a teacher, basically, because they've got enough hours in the plane and such stuff. Get the first officers coming along, and they basically fly the planes when they're flying. So if you're in real life sitting on a plane, you hear the captain's voice and all that sort of stuff. But it's the first officer who flies the plane, and the captain's there just in case anything goes wrong, and he takes over. So we are 9 miles, right? So I'll press that button there, and I'll turn the seatbelt sign back on. So we're now descending. See there, it's going down, and we're going to descend to flight level 20,000 or 200 as they say. So we're slowly descending.
From the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
So basically we're descending at it's like 230 foot a minute to get it down to flight level 20,000, because we need to be, you now brought it down too early. By that point there we need to be at flight level 20,000. So really I'm going to start dropping it down there, but this would have been like 300 or 400 foot a second, minute. So just makes a nice smoother ride for the make-believe passengers, shall I say. Because this bloody thing this is that software I bought. So this is supposed to be the checks all the first officer does. So it's got light, yeah, so it's linked to the aircraft, but it says offline. But no, I'm not offline, I'm online. And that says default, which should say FBW Fly-by-Wire A320. But it's not freaking working now. It cost me 20 quid, that freaking software. Bastard. I wouldn't care when I look on the website, and after I bought it, then I realised it says no refunds. I thought, I've been ripped off. Because there's a lot of rip-off software for this, for the Microsoft Flight Sim anyway. People brought planes out which are absolutely horrendous. And they're charging 30, 40, 50 pound a pop for the plane. So that's why I use X-Plane a lot. With this, it's, the scene is great on this, I must admit. I just love the scenery. Very detailed, etc., etc. You can see got some dodgy looking storm clouds over here. Good old British Airways. So descending down to 20,000, I think. Or should be there by now. Yeah, there's a lot of rip-off software. Oh. Hell of a lot. But people have been buying them and then realising instead of waiting for people reviewing them and that, and it's some dodgy stuff. But X-Plane 12 comes out this year, which that's what it costs, £60, but I'm really looking forward to that. How the two simulations? If I were to pick, I would pick X-Plane. Yes, this is all lovely and looks beautiful, and the scenery's fantastic and all that sort of stuff, but X-Plane's been developed for many, many years, and it's very stable. Whereas this thing can crash every so often, and the size on your disc, Jesus, I'm up to about 300 gig already. It's huge bit of software. So, and it's really expensive. It's too expensive. Hello, Glenn Bixie, how are you, sir? Yeah, you know what you do, don't you? For all the millions and millions of viewers around the world, Glenn Bixie's details are in the description below. He's a really good streamer. I've been very funny at times. Trust me, some of his streams I've been on with him have been hilarious. He does a lot of early access games, so and speaks the truth about the game, and whether the devs like that or not, I don't know. I don't think I'd have the balls to say what you say to Glenn, but yeah, it's you're tired. Did you not sleep well last night? Yeah, it does look good, but we'll see how they go. I'm streaming it tomorrow night. Let's have a coffee, keep yourself awake. Wow, it's so warm and hot and humid here. Unbelievable. It's not like the UK usually. It's always pretty freezing. So soon be in Heathrow. Set the brakes to low. Got it working. So once we get to this bit, start dropping back down to 15,000. Yeah, I'm sweating. What's he? Yeah, what a way to spend a Friday night, eh? Wow. You must have had a good night's sleep, Greg. Are you streaming that Fall Guy tonight? Yeah, I love the sun too, but you know what us English folk are like, we always bitch about the weather. Whether it's too hot, too cold, rains too much, wind blows too hard, we can never get a happy medium. I didn't get it, Glenn. I've seen it. Because I was in this Discord thing, and a guy was streaming it on the VC. So I jumped in and I was watching him and I thought, it reminds me of an old 70s/80s Sega type game. That's why I didn't appeal to us. Oh, I don't appeal on tonight, alright. I still doing the grind for the hover vehicle. I haven't played Imperium for a long time. I started playing Ark the other day, which was brutal. I died numerous times. Can't believe how many times I died, so I've got the hang of it. It's a very hard game to get into. Excuse me. I started playing Imperium last week. I need to go back to it. It's I've got other things to do. I'll turn that off. Plus my grandson coming over and me going across Ireland and I haven't been well. Trying to do stuff when I haven't been well, forcing yourself, but you shouldn't. Me being a fit idiot. So now approaching 15,000. And the speed will start dropping to 220. Tell you what you should do for a fits and giggles, Glenn. Is that I can't remember the name of the bloody game now. The man, what was it called? Are You Dead Already? Is that the right name? That was just so friggin' funny. It really was. But I need to chop her arm off to get this bit of, to do the task in there. Wow, it's just it's just so funny. Sure, it's called You Dead Already. Stormy clouds coming up to London. So I'm going to make my Friday nights my World Tour flight night. Saturdays I'm going to restart the ATP stuff. Sundays and I'll be outward, or some guys who I talked to are thinking about doing an ETS convoy, so I'll have to wait and see. So definitely ATP tomorrow, probably outward on Sunday, or an ATS, I don't know yet. Ooh, caramel coffee. It's been a week. Get withdrawal symptoms. Go to the left. Changes down to 20 miles. So I need to start dropping my speed soon. Once we hit 10,000, I'll put the landing lights and stuff on. Who, me? It's about time. Ish. It all depends how much I do through the day. If I've done too much of the day, I don't stream because I'm knackered. You know how it goes. Speed brakes. Wow. Look, if I get 1 hour a week. Well, I don't do it for that, I just do it for fits and giggles. So I'm not into all this bloody stuff. Just do it for a laugh. We're now down to 220 miles an hour. Nice, I'll be good if I get bloody 1 hour a week. Well, I don't care about stuff like that. It's what I, ooh, that bright orange cloud. Well, I very rarely go outside, but let's take the butchers outside. Wow. Sunlight reflecting off them clouds. Oh, they're really bad rain clouds. I think it's going to be a bit of turbulence for the passengers. Let's fly right into it. It's like going to the wall of death. Right, approaching 10,000. Get all these lights on. Here, man, these bugger up. Right, so landing lights on. Oh, look at that. Right in the middle of the rain cloud. Not good. It's having a right thunderstorm in London. Oh crap. This is not good. You see the headlights of the plane? So London is below us somewhere. I can't see jack shit. That's why you need instruments to help you out. Sorry, but you do. That's what they're there for. Too early to turn these on. What's that? Turn it on. Right, so there's the approach on, setting autopilots on. We're now just waiting for this localizer glide slope to turn green. And that's all there is to it on board to land this bloody plane. Just press a few buttons and it does it all for you. Spring brakes back on. One flap down. Should that be? Three. So I see these two, the localizer and the glide scope to green, and all jobs done. On the speed brakes. So put the joystick down here. God, I've nearly got to this bottle of water already. Yep, some real dodgy weather above London at the minute. Real dodgy. Why is that in the centre like that? It's usually in the centre of the screen. Oh well. Go on, just pick the localizer up and the glide slow. No, I can land this bloody thing. It's the airport somewhere in that direction somewhere. So I was going to say there's sunny London below us, but no. It's doing a right turn in a minute. Hopefully these will turn green. Slow us down a bit. Set the flaps. So there, we're just below where we should be, and this diamond will come here. Fluffs through. I was picking up the localizer and the glide saw, so now it'll just be a case of sitting back, put your feet on the and it'll land itself. Flaps full, and we should see the runway in front of us. Drop the gear down, ping the cabin crew.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
So there's the runway directly in front of her. Nice sunset.
2,500.
Yep, there's the runway. Directly in front. That's a doddle. Take a sip of coffee. You wouldn't think it's pretty half-nine. It's just be clear sky. But at least we've made it. Another 5 minutes and we're down. I'm not going to park the plane, I'm just going to take it off the runway and that's it. As you can see, slowly coming down. The diamonds are where they should be, level and level. And that's it basically. Not hard to do. I am in the process of learning the Concorde plane, which is really complicated, not many freaking buttons on it. So, for streaming wise, this is a lot better than ETS and ATS. Trying to drive and watch chat at the same time, it's bloody hard work. Just, well, you know what it's like. We all do. It's pretty hard work. And you're always crashing. Well, I am anyway. Right, so we're coming for the landing. Yep,
1,000.
throttle's ready. Just about. Nothing to say. Nothing to say.
$500.
It's very hard to reach out, Glenn.
$400.
It's a nightmare. When I do my OMSI stuff, trying to retract, oh,
$300.
it's... I always crash when I read the chat.
$200.
2 white lights, 2 red lights. Up ball. The
100.
intensity, yeah, the rates. Height. Basically.
Minimum 50, 40, 30,
30, 20. Turn the power
10,
down.
5.
Outward down. Nose down. Auto thrusters on. Off. Go to the go. Out. Flaps up. I should have come off that one, but there we go. We are down. I'll turn off here. I had to be cautious, Christ. I did one, I was on a convoy in Iceland. I was trying to catch up with them because they were miles ahead of us. I didn't take into account the ice on the road and stuff. Jesus, what a crash that was. It's a nightmare. Right, off the runway. I'm just going to park the bloody thing here because I can't be tuned to go and park it. So pray to break. It starts so long as I want to play. Eh? What? Where about Glenn? Turn these up. So that's it, folks. We are landed. We're in Heathrow. And that's all there is to it, really. It's not rocket tides-ish. So that's the first leg of the world tour. Next Friday will be from Heathrow across to Schiphol Airport, which is in Amsterdam. And then I decided after we hit Amsterdam, read the second line. If I turn on second screen, it won't load. All right, I understand now. Yeah, I understand. So thank you all for coming. Again, Bixie's details are in the description. Oddball is on the ones to watch list on my YouTube channel. I've got nothing else to say apart from let's hope the night cools down, turn me fan back up to full blast, and I shall catch you all next time. Bye.